Hi, Paul here from Super Deluxe Edition. Just wanted to talk to you today about the Thompson Twins. Some of you may have seen that Into the Gap has been announced as a 40th anniversary reissue, a 1984 album of course. So here is the record, 84, massive album in both America and UK and across Europe. 4 singles, the first 2 were Hold Me Now and Doctor Doctor. And then after the album came out, this is in the UK, You Take Me Up and Sister of Mercy were the last 2 singles. They all went top 10 except Sister of Mercy, which I think was number 11, something like that. So very much their commercial peak. This album was produced by Alex Sadkin, who'd produced the previous record, which is Quick Step and Sidekick. Arguably a superior album, but the follow-up was the massive international smash. So this was of course their 4th album, but it was only their 2nd as a trio. They'd been a 7-piece sort of collective earlier on in the 80s, and it all came together with Alex Sadkin as a producer. They just seemed to have a great working relationship, and these 2 albums did extremely well. I mean, Alex had done, before Into the Gap, he'd done Seven and the Ragged with Duran Duran. He travelled around the world with them doing that. Later on, after the split with Duran Duran, when we had Arcadia and the Power Station, Alex produced the Arcadia album as well, which arguably is one of the best things he ever did in terms of the, the detailed, the layered production, the percussion. I mean, he really was brilliant. And when it came to the 3rd album, he didn't really work on the 3rd record. He did the first single, and it didn't quite do as well. So there was quite a few artists in the 80s who had this special relationship with producers and produced some of their most successful work with one producer. So I'm thinking of Paul Young with Laurie Latham. He had No Parley and The Secret of Association. They were both very successful albums. And Howard Jones with Rupert Hine. His first 2 albums, Human Lib and The Dream Into Action, were very, very successful. And both of those artists, when they changed from the producer that they'd worked with the 3rd record, it didn't really work out commercially. I mean, Nick Kershaw's another example of that, actually. He decided to produce the 3rd record, Radio Musicola, by himself, and it's a great album, but just for whatever reason, it didn't work commercially. So the same thing kind of applied to the Thompson Twins. Now, I've always been a big fan of the Thompson Twins, and one of the things that I noted sort of about 10 years ago was how nothing good had come out for a long time. I mean, Edsel did a couple of, well, more than a couple actually, but they did a good reissue program in about 2008, I think it was, 2009. So they did 2 CD reissues of Into the Gap and Quick Step and Sidekick, and the albums before, and Here's to Future Days, actually the album after Into the Gap. But the marketplace was clogged with very, very sort of cheap greatest hits, best ofs, that were all over the place in terms of the mixes that they used and everything. So I went to Cherry Red Records and proposed the idea of a remixes and rarities compilation, which is what I've got here. Very proud of this. It's basically 24 tracks, lots of 12-inch mixes, rare mixes, B-sides, single edits. Well, actually there's B-side edits, there's all sorts of stuff on there. So it's still in print, actually. You can still get this. I interviewed Tom Bailey for the sleeve notes. I actually designed this, so it's quite a personal project, but nothing much has happened since this has come out. So here we are sort of 10 years later, because that was 2014, and we're finally getting a reissue of Into the Gap. So I'm delighted about that. But what I'm especially delighted about is that there's going to be a Dolby Atmos mix on an SD exclusive Blu-ray audio. So some of you may have bought some of our previous 80s albums on Blu-ray. We had Tears of His The Hurting, we've had ABC, Lexicon of Love, Wham, Make It Big, and we had Fantastic as well with Wham. And then No Parley this year, Paul Young, that was back in January, February this year. So it's very much in keeping with these kind of albums that we're doing Into the Gap. And David Coston, who did Paul Young's No Parley as an immersive audio mix, he's tackled Into the Gap. He's done an absolutely superb Atmos mix, really, really detailed, very, very immersive. Tom Bailey went round to his studio. I mean, I went and had a listen as well in Ladbroke Grove, but Tom Bailey was wowed by it and approved it. So I think you're going to be blown away by this Atmos mix. There's a 5.1 mix on the disc. There's instrumental versions in Atmos and 5.1. There's David's done a new stereo version, which has no limiting on it. It's very dynamic. I think it's probably going to be one of the best sounding stereo mixes out there. And on top of all that, you get the 2024 remaster in 9624, and then you get the original version of the album as mastered back in the day on the Blu-ray. And then on top of all that, you get 30 bonus tracks in stereo. And I'm talking 12-inch mixes, multiple 12-inch mixes of all the singles, B-sides, single edits, cassette-only mixes, because when this album came out, there was a cassette version where side 2 of the cassette was completely new remixes of the songs. So they're on the Blu-ray as well. It's the same as what you get on the 3 CD set. The whole lot is on the Blu-ray, in addition to the Atmos mixes. So tremendous amount of content on the one Blu-ray. I think you're going to be blown away by it. Hopefully, if it does well, this is like in partnership with BMG, but hopefully we'll do Quick Step and Sidekick as well, because those two albums are definitely my favourite records, and I think they're a lot of people's favourite albums. So there's going to be a red vinyl version and a 3 CD 40th anniversary edition of Into the Gap. So they both come out on November the 8th, I think it is. And then the Blu-ray comes a little bit later on December the 6th. Now the Blu-ray is exclusive to SDE, so you have to go to the sdeshop.com and you'll see the Blu-ray on there. You can place your order. There's more information on superdeluxeedition.com as well, so you can have a look there. I'll make sure there's links on this video. So thanks for listening. A little bit about Thompson Twins. Very welcome reissue program from BMG. Look forward to your comments underneath. Ask any questions about the Blu-ray and I'll be sure to answer. This is available to pre-order until the 5th of October. So you've got just over a week to get your pre-order in for this Blu-ray. It's all done on a pre-order basis. We kind of take pre-orders and then go and manufacture afterwards. So that's the method that we do it. You need to get your pre-order in before the 5th of October, and I'll look forward to hearing what everyone thinks of this Atmos mix. I think you're going to be very, very impressed with it when you hear it. Okay, well listen, thanks a lot for watching. Do subscribe if you haven't, and I'll look forward to speaking to you again soon.